want to cover is what I call the oil can effect. After I stripped the Nova, I took a glimpse of the car, basically started taking inventory of my next plan of attack to get the car fixed. And I noticed all the highs and lows. Obviously that's what we look for, if there was any previous body work done to it, and in my case there wasn't too much done previously. And then I noticed on the quarter panel that it had what's called the oil can effect. And the best way I can describe it is, if you think back to long ago, mechanics or home mechanics, they had an oil can that when you press the bottom of it and you basically squeeze the bottom of it, it would make a sound, and every time they squeezed it, it would squirt out some oil. So that's where the term oil can effect comes from, and that sound that occurred when they squeezed or pressed the bottom of it is what we're referring to when you're looking at a car and you have that oil can effect. So what I did was I took a panel and I recreated the oil can effect, and I'm going to show you what it is, what I used to fix it, and maybe explain what I think causes it. So let's get started. Okay, so here's a patch panel, one of the patch panels I used for repairing the Nova, and this was for the behind the tire, the quarter panel. And so if you notice right here, hopefully the camera picks this up, what I did was I took a hammer and started hammering on either side, and what I was doing was I was stretching the metal. Basically, when the car gets hit, sometimes you'll get a metal stretch, and sometimes, as in my case, whoever had the car before me, what they tried to do was they hammered out the dent from the inside. And whenever the metal gets pushed in and then pushed out with a blow, the metal actually stretches. So now I recreated the effect, and this is what we're looking for. See, the metal flexes. And that's because it has been stretched. That's the oil can effect. And so basically what we need to do to cure that is, we all know that metal stretches or expands with heat. And we also know that metal contracts or shrinks if you cool it down. So using that principle, you want to stretch the metal by heating it up and then rapidly cooling it down, and the metal will shrink. Now this process, when you're heating and rapidly cooling, also makes the metal stronger. So basically that's a heat treatment we're doing. When we do that to the oil can effect, what we're doing is heating, which is stretching the metal just a bit, then cooling it, which will shrink the metal, and also strengthening the metal so that we won't get this flex. So I'm going to show you what I used to get it fixed. Now to fix this oil can effect, we'll need some basic tools. Basically you just need a propane torch, okay, to heat the metal, and these are very inexpensive, so it was my ideal heating source. We'll need a small bucket with cold water, the coldest you can get from your sink or garden hose or whatever. And you need something to light the torch. You could use, a lighter or one of these things. This is very inexpensive. A rag, any rag. You can see mine is dirty, so just a rag, and possibly a hammer. So basically, take the rag and you put it in your cold water. That's going to be your cooling source. Okay, and if you have nice cold water, that would be the colder the better. And then you have your torch, your propane torch, and that's going to be what I'm going to use to heat it. I'm going to get the panel, and I'm going to do the process, and I'm going to try to show you. Hopefully you can see that. Let me check if you can. Let's adjust the camera so you can see what I'm doing. Maybe put it at an angle, so bear with me. Okay, let's get that panel a little bit cleaner so that we can see what we're doing. It's dusty. So now you can see the oil can effect. Hopefully I can get this to stand. So I couldn't get it to lay down, so I mean to stand up, so I just laid it down. So now I'm going to get the torch ready. There's my torch. Basically just put it right on the metal and heat it up. Get it nice and hot. And I just basically concentrate in the dime to a quarter size area when I'm heating it up. Get it very, very hot. And sometimes when you're doing it, you'll notice the metal actually moving. And so I don't know if you can see that, but we got that heat up. And now we just basically cool it. Now you want to be careful because it's going to cause steam, so you don't want to burn yourself when you're doing this. Let's see. Okay, now it's no more oil can effect. Okay, doesn't flex. Now sometimes, and this is why I said you want to use the hammer. Sometimes you can actually fix a dent using the heating and cooling method. So, well, you probably can't see, but there's like a dimple on the back side. It's going towards the inside. So what I do to fix that is basically just heat it up again, right at where you want to hammer. And I just concentrate on that one area. And then while it's hot, since you know that the metal stretch, you want to hit it basically on the back side or whatever. And you could use a dolly to aid you when you're, the hammer and dolly method to aid you to strengthen the metal. But while it's hot, you can move it and do some flexing because the metal is now soft. And then after you get it to where you feel that you want it, you just cool the metal again, okay? And that will lock it into position. That's how I have it in my head. Basically, I'm stretching the metal and I want to lock that position. I cool it down. But you can see that it's really, really rigid. And let me shut this off. It's really rigid and no more flexing. See? No more flexing. So now you just keep repeating that process of heating and cooling until the metal becomes strong or until you get it to where you want it in the bodywork stage so that you can actually do your filler, and continue on with the next mess that you have to deal with bodywork. So that's basically what it is as far as the oil can effect. And as always, if you have any questions, any comments, go ahead and leave it in the comment box below. And if you like the video, hit the like button. So I want to thank you for watching my videos. Hopefully this does help someone. There's not a lot of information on this oil can effect, and when I did my research, I only found one place that actually showed something like this, and that's when that was enough for me to just go ahead and try it on my car. And when I did it, it worked, and I was just so ecstatic. I was so happy. So this might help someone else. You don't want to go ahead and put body filler over an oil can effect area because of the fact that it flexes, and later on down the line you might get a crack. So you want to make sure that you strengthen the metal, maybe do a little more body work to get that metal as straight as you can get it, then put your body filler on there. That way you have a good quality fix that will last you for years to come. Thank you very much for watching.